So Pam Hemphill was a Donald Trump supporter, and she took part in the January 6th insurrection. She's now out there calling Trump out, saying that he's very dangerous and that he needs to be held accountable for his crimes. But Hemphill was sentenced to 2 months in prison, and she got 3 years probation and a $500 fine for her actions on January 6th. Now, this was a woman with no criminal background at all, and she got duped into going to the Capitol on January 6th and taking part in the insurrection. She believed the big lie. She followed Donald Trump all the way to January 6th. And when he said, go fight like hell, that's exactly what she did. She went down there and she encouraged riders to push through, and she was seen walking around the rotunda, and she paid the price for it. And now that she's out, she's starting to speak out. And I'm glad to see that at least one person has made it out and one person's starting to come to their senses. And I know there's more. I know there's people who once supported Donald Trump that have stopped, and we don't talk about that enough, because for whatever reason, they never seem to get the microphone enough. But I think that we need to start showcasing those people more and talking with them more and having conversations, because they've been there and they know what it's like to get caught up in something like that. And I think we need to have conversations with them. But Hemphill said this about Trump. She said, Trump is a dangerous, and I mean dangerous, narcissist. He needs to be put in prison. In my opinion, he has committed crimes, and he needs to be held accountable. He is not above the law. A former Trump supporter actually said he should be held accountable and he's not above the law. So at least one former Trump supporter can now say that. I know there's people out there that are still going to hammer it home that he's totally innocent and that this is all just one big witch hunt, but at least Pam Hemphill has woke up from it. And she also said this, because she was there on that day. She said, telling me it was a peaceful protest, I was there. I was there when they pushed those gates and those officers and when they stepped on my head. I'm so tired of the narrative that they're putting out there. That's why I speak out, because I have the receipts. I know what happened that day, and I hold Trump totally responsible. I have to say, it's a breath of fresh air to hear someone who once supported Trump use the words responsible, because it seems to be a word that Donald Trump completely erased from their dictionary. I wonder how many podcasters are going to have Pam Hemphill on their show. I wonder if Joe Rogan will invite her on and talk about what happened that day. I wonder if he'll entertain her perspective. I wonder if Vivek Ramaswamy would be willing to sit down and talk with Pam. I wonder if Marjorie Taylor Greene would let her speak at one of her rallies. Well, we all know the answer to that. As a matter of fact, I'm already starting to see what they're saying about Pam Hemphill. A lot of them are calling her a traitor. That's classic cult mentality. And some are going so far as to say that CNN scripted everything for her to say and that she's being forced to say this stuff. There are still people in that bubble. There are still people trapped there at Jonestown that can't seem to escape. But Pam Hemphill did, and I hope that we see more follow. I hope more will see her as a sign of hope and go, okay, if she's speaking out, maybe I should too. Because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people got caught up in this, and they got all caught up in their feels, and they got all caught up in this need for this victory, this need for this big win. And then they realized that all it did was just land them behind bars. Someone with no criminal record ended up behind bars. And I think she's like 70-year-old. I mean, imagine going that far in your life and you've not done anything, but you get caught up in this guy's bullshit. Hopefully she will be an inspiration to other people, and hopefully other people who are starting to come around will just go ahead and come around and tell us and say, hey, we made a mistake and we fucked up. I can respect people that can do that. I can respect people that can say, hey, I used to believe in this and I don't anymore. More so than I can people who, when presented with all the evidence in the world, just clings to it. I have a hard time respecting that belief system. I'm a person who, if you lay concrete evidence in front of me, and I don't mean, evidence from some right-wing website that you cooked up that has no basis whatsoever, show me how 2 + 2 = 4, and I will believe it, and I will say it's a fact. But if you tell me that 2 + 2 = 76, and I just have to believe, and I just have to get in the spiritual mind to believe that, I'm going to say you're full of shit. So, good for Pam Hemphill. I'm glad she made it out. I hope she inspires others to do so.